Transgender activist outlets are enraged right now because they claim that President-elect Donald Trump will sign an executive order banning transgender service members from the military. Now, there has been no official claims from the Trump campaign that he would do this, but I want to ask you, what in the world is wrong with that? See, they claim that this is a bad move because the military is already having a lot of trouble trying to get people to register for service, and that getting rid of 15,000 transgender troops would be a bad idea. Well, I want to ask you something very simple. Why in the world would it be a bad idea to get rid of people in the military who have a mental illness? And gender dysphoria is a mental illness. If you're not stable and do not understand what gender you were born with and feel that as a man you should live as a woman or as a woman you should live as a man, why in the world would we want to put you in a combat situation? One of the most stressful, mentally and physically taxing situations that I could think of in the world. That would be an endangerment, not just to you, but to the people you serve with. The military should be focusing on killing the enemy. It's as simple as that. We don't need this woke disease in the military. This should not be controversial to say. And it is not anti-trans to say that someone who has a diagnosed mental illness should not be able to serve in a combat role and really shouldn't be involved in the military at all. I don't understand why this is a controversial take. But this is what happens when you glorify a mental illness and say that people are okay just the way they are. No, this is a legitimate safety concern and a combat readiness concern for the United States military. The military is not a place where we have social experiments. The military should just be focused on completing the mission. And it puts America in a weaker standpoint with combat readiness to cater to a mental illness. And the Trump administration, even though they have made no official statement that they would ban transgenders from the military, has put in certain directives with the DOD from the previous administration, saying that in order for transgenders to serve, they must be stable for 36 months. Why is this controversial? This seems like common sense to me. And it sounds like that these transgender activists are just pulling things out of their behind and trying to stir up fear and trying to make Trump into something that he is not. But, as I said before, I don't see that it's a controversial issue, that someone should not be serving in the military if it puts their life or the life of their fellow service members in danger. We don't allow people to serve in our military for far less than transgenderism. So why now, in 2024, are we catering to a very small percentage of Americans that are obviously mentally ill? This seems like common sense to me. Unless there are people in our government right now who do not care about national security and who do not care about America's standing in the world. This would not surprise me at all, because in fact, we now know, thanks to documents released in 2023, that the Pentagon was funding transgender reassignment surgeries for members of the military who identified as transgender. They were doing the surgeries, tops and bottoms, and allowing hormone replacement therapy and voice feminization therapy. Taxpayers should not be funding this sort of thing. If you want to do that after you get out of the military on your own dime. It is morally wrong to force Americans who do not want to go along with your mental delusion to fund this stuff through taxpayer money. And it only serves to make us weaker. Do you think that America's enemies care about transgenderism? Do you think they care about diversity, equity, and inclusion? No. They understand what I'm telling you now, that the goal of the military and the purpose of the military is only to kill the enemy. This should be common sense. And so if Trump did decide that transgenders would no longer be allowed in the military and directed the Department of Defense to take these measures, I don't think it would be a bad idea, because it is simply an issue of combat readiness and being strong and efficient with our military. If you want to spend less on the military, why fund something like this? This is outrageous. This is unnecessary, wasteful spending that our military is now doing in the name of wokeness and diversity, equity, and inclusion. This doesn't serve the American people well. This, as an American citizen, outrages me and shouldn't have been allowed in the first place. The fact that we're even having this conversation in 2024 spits on the graves of the people who died in wars previously, like World War II, or any war prior to World War II, that was fought for American freedom. And this should not be allowed in America when it comes to military service. It's not anti-trans to say that. If you want to do it on your own time and your own dime. If you agree with me, please do me a favor. Please like this video because it helps out the algorithm. Please share it, and please subscribe to my channel for more content.